Ahoy there, mateys! Today we're going to meet my friend Sarah Hawley, who is a shaman. I've done a lot of work with her in the past, and it's always incredibly transformative. I'm looking forward to diving into it on an intellectual level through conversation with her and introducing all of you to the work of a shaman. So let's go meet her. People think of a shaman. They think brown-skinned man bone through their nose, right? You're not that. Explain what a modern day shaman is.
Right. And I think it needs to be honored that there are still those people in those cultures that are still that, and they have a different function in those cultures. They make the prayers for the crops to grow and hold a certain space for the whole community. Many different spaces that really don't pertain to modern culture, like we don't do rain dances. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we should.
Maybe we should, in California particularly.
The modern shaman would tend to focus on the healing of each individual, but also provide ceremonies like the fire ceremony that we do, and provide the rites of passage, the Munaiki. And those are some similarities. That's exactly what the shaman of old would do.
Right.
The Inca, who are brown-skinned people, say that in their prophecies the new shaman comes out of the west, here. And that they very much need us to continue the work up here. Because this is where it's needed. This is where the energies become imbalanced. And it is part of their ancient prophecies. For these times to come, in 2012, really it's more the modern world, the prophecies say, that's going to get the shake-up.
You mentioned the Munaiki rites. Flesh that out a little bit more.
Munaiki rites is a distillation of the rites that have traditionally been given throughout all indigenous cultures on the planet from the time that the shamanism originated in Siberia. So it used to be that you would get sort of your first foundational rites, the first 4 rites, and then you'd go back and you'd get your fifth rite. And wait a year and see how that took a long time.
Right.
Well, what the Inca says, we don't have that time anymore. So in about 2006, Alberto Villoldo got with the Inca and elders from other indigenous tribes and said, look, it seems like it's time to expedite this process. And, the elders can be really stuck in their ways. Alberto proposed that to them and they said, oh, no, I don't know if we should. Let's do it! Because they could feel that pressure of these times, the global warming and all these things. This was, again, predicted by the prophecies of the Aztec, Hopi, Inca, that just now things would be becoming imbalanced. And again, that's what the Munaiki is, this expedited process of what was once the rites that were the training of the shaman. Now they're to be given to anyone that's drawn to them to help expedite just your own life and your own unfoldment in a way that'll keep you true to right action and operating from deep heart and with right vision. That's what they are. And the Munaiki are a set of processes that illuminate the energy field and download software for the energy field to grow and to learn to source yourself from the healed future rather than the wounded past. So it puts a real accelerated course on what psychotherapy would be doing. And I'm trained in clinical psychotherapy, MFT. Not licensed as an MFT because I found the shamanic path shortly before my 3,000 hours of interning were up, and I realized, it'll be better to do it this way, to combine both.
A gentler path.
Yes, because a lot of therapies are talk therapies, and those are just real slow. Right. When we address the energy field and look at the archetypal world that's always available, and able to be accessed by someone who's trained in shamanism, the work goes a lot deeper, a lot faster. And it's empowering for the client.
What's amazing about the work is that even though it comes from these ancient traditions, it's actually very much rooted in quantum physics.
Yes.
And that energy, that consciousness, and realigning and cleansing and readjusting all of that stuff. And that's what is one of the most fascinating things to me about it.
Yeah, Albert Einstein said that which is watched changes. And we still see that in physics experiments now.
Right.
And so what we do in the shamanic world, when we get with ourselves or with a client, watching very intentfully. And we learn to see into the invisible world of energy, so that watching becomes more and more fine-tuned and acute.
Almost like looking into the spaces rather than the walls.
I often notice lately that I'm not even looking at my client when the information is coming to me, downloading, if you will. I'm looking in another part of space.
Right.
We open sacred space before doing the work, and what that allows is for that psychic space to be shared, as if we're both looking at the same computer screen. It's the computer screen of the client. And I have data then that I get, often in images or pictures. And I always say, take what you like, leave the rest. Because, hey, I'm a human. But a lot of times, no, that triggers him into the next, oh my God, yeah, what is when this happened. And so often the psyche will give little keys that unlock a hidden trauma. And, yeah.
So the goal, I know this is part of what the Four Winds teaches, is the homo luminous being or homo luminous body, and that is part of what the goal is with the Moon Key rites and with the realignment and rearranging of the DNA, correct?
Yeah. To become homo luminous is to be present to the emotions and definitely feel them, because they'll stalk us if we don't. But we don't just stay in that world of the mental and emotional. We learn to walk our lives more and more in the world of the energetic, but without being new agey and sort of disembodied. No, the point is bring all that world of experiencing yourself as an energy being right down into the everyday world and see that this is the garden, this is the place. So it's this interesting mix. It's homo luminous is that having that sight, which is the fourth rite, by the way, the seer's rite, is part and parcel of being in that more homo luminous package. That, you know, when I look or be with you, if you've asked me to do work with you as a homo luminous, I could go, you know, hey, I feel a little bit of compression in my chest. How are you feeling in there? You know, and well, that's how the conversation starts, and suddenly you're on the floor crying and healing something. That's a homo luminous way of being, you know. It's more immediate. It's quantum.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was part one of our conversation with Sarah Hawley. The Moon Key rites are a very powerful tool and have been unfolding in my own life in really beautiful ways. For more information, you can find a link on our website. Stay tuned for part two with Sarah, in which we talk about the work of a shaman, soul retrievals, chakra balancing, some really interesting stuff. There's also a part three. Until then, take care, take heart, and always take the road less traveled. See ya.